Welcome to the Unique Drops Weekly Discourse. Ask for it by name. Hashtag on brand.
Nice.
I am your host this week because Mr. Dan P is probably on a plane on his way back here at some point.
Yeah.
Or in the process of getting here.
It's a process to get from the Philippines to the United States for sure.
So you get me, your buddy John, and of course the other voice you hear is Chris.
Hey.
The third portion of the triangle of power, the Triforce. Yes, the Triforce of wisdom. Because we are giving you the hottest takes on all the news that we talked about this week. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, John. How you been?
I'm great. I have finally gotten a monkey off my back, and that is Fire Emblem. So I'm just going to jump around here a little bit. Fire Emblem, 3 houses, 120 hours. It is now closed for the Golden Deers.
And then?
I restarted, and I'm starting to play as the Blue Lion.
Yeah, you did.
Because that game's good. The game's real good.
I'm glad.
To be fair, the last 15 hours or so were spent grinding the last of my house characters to get their master classes, because they have, skill requirements for each of them. And the ones I wanted them to branch into, I had not invested quite enough into getting them up to snuff. So it was a lot of going into the battle weeks and hitting the replayable missions over and over again, and just letting them kill everything.
Just to grind?
Just to get them the skill, because you can only get skills either through the weekly instruction that you do with your class, but that requires them to have motivation, and in order to get the motivation, you have to go on the Explore action and either give them gifts, or have food with them, or invite them to a tea party. So it's a weird cycle. You can only do that a few times a month. So you can also get the XP from going into those battles and using the weapon or the skill that they're trying to level up.
I remember when Fire Emblem was a tactics game.
It still
instead
is.
of a dating simulator.
Well, it's still a tactics game. They just added a whole bunch of... I wouldn't so much call it a dating sim as I would call it a very rich, actual, visual novel.
No, I get it. And I've from what I've heard, they've actually done a pretty good job. It's been engaging. I talk about it because I've heard so much about it. I don't know that I could ever commit the number of hours required to see that game out.
Yeah,
and it pains me to say that.
I would suggest just watching a Let's Play then, if you're really interested in it, because that's what we do in these days when you don't have the time to sit down and play it. Just put it on in the background at work and you'll get,
osmosis.
You'll get through osmosis at least.
The experience.
But yeah, it's stupendous. It's crazy because I also, in addition to getting the skills to get them the classes, I also wanted to get their support relationships all maxed out, as many as I could. And that also requires either them being next to each other on the battlefield, or having them both come to dinner, because you can invite 2 people when you do a meal. And that requires, like I said, bringing 2 people together and getting that support up. So there was 2 characters who are not part of the 3 houses, but they're part of the general monastery. It's a brother and sister.
They're recruitable?
They're recruitable, so they were in my roster. And I hadn't gotten their support status up to max. And one of the craziest things about the game is that, there are some really good payoffs when you get those max level support levels, because those conversations are so satisfying, because it builds from the other
that's what I was you said it's satisfying, and I was like, do you mean that in interpersonal is a weird way to put a video game, but yeah. It's the experience, or is it a video game payoff where the stats go up?
No, it's literally the listening to that the first conversation that they have when they first start a support relationship, and then see the other subsequent conversations, how that relationship has grown, and then you get the payoff when they max it out.
So the writing is good enough that you want to see those friendships. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, there was one with that brother and sister who were part of that monastery that, like, I'm going to get a little spoilery here because you'll probably never actually play it yourself.
Yes.
But they drop, like, a huge, like spoilery secret thing in that final conversation between those two. They'd been hinting at stuff all throughout the game, like through just the regular conversations with the other characters. And then at the end there, like, you get a revelation when you build your relationship up with each of the individual characters about them. But then you get the super secret thing when you build their relationship up with each other to their max. And then, like I said, that was near the end while I was grinding, and I hit that, and I was like, God damn, if you don't invest the time in that, like, you would never know about this. Like, you could play through that entire game and never find that out.
See, and that's hard to balance, because it's like, part of you probably appreciates it because of having invested, but then I think it's such a shame that other people won't have and will never actually experience that because either they weren't able to, or they didn't care as much, or they didn't know that they should because there was such a rewarding payoff, and because video games just aren't known for that depth and breadth. So.
But there's so many interesting pairings in it. Like, everybody has a relationship with each other if you work on it. And they're all very well written and very, like, they don't feel forced.
Yeah.
Which is cool. The other thing I will say is that at the end, once you beat the game, it actually has, like, a postscript for all the characters that you've recruited and says, like, what happened after the events of the story, a la, like, Fallout, where they would say, like, what happened to each of the settlements and things like that, which I thought was really cool because I hadn't actually, confession, this is the first Fire Emblem game I've finished. Because I have played several of them, but I usually hit a wall in them when I get to near the end of the game, or the last level in the case of the GameCube version, where there wasn't a way to grind, and I was stuck on that last battle and could not beat it for the life of me.
Man.
So, yeah, it is absolutely fulfilling. It is probably going to be one of my best games of the year. Easy.
I think it speaks highly to the fact that you've put 120 some odd hours and you're now starting a new game, and you feel that it's going to be worth it to know the rest of the story.
Because I only recruited a few people from the other houses. I didn't try to max it out. So this time, a lot of the relationships that I'm seeing, I didn't deal with those characters at all. Like, I think there's 2 characters, I believe, who are in the house that I'm in, that I recruited for my house. So the rest of them are all new, and, like, me trying to build relationships and see what their motivations are.
That's really impressive that they go to that level, and that you would be that invested in it, and that they wrote out enough to make that as fulfilling as you're finding it.
Last thing I will say is that the New Game Plus option is really good, because what it gives you is a special, like, options menu in your room for your professor that allows you to spend renown, which is one of the currencies in the game that you get from doing the side missions, the paralogs, things like that. You get it as you go through the game, and it has a couple different uses. You use it to upgrade statues in the church, but in this new book, it allows you to buy several, like, the best thing is to call them is, like, XP booster type things. So you can improve relationship levels with it, with the renown. You can improve your skills. So any skill you want, you can spend renown on it. Or it allows you to do something which I did instantly, maxed out, which is maximize your professor level. Which, the higher your professor level is in that game, the more activities you can do per week. So I'm only in the first month, and I am already at the point where I can do like 8 or 9 different activities when I explore. I can do 3 of the optional battles when I select the battle option. And when I instruct, I can instruct more students per week. So basically, it's making my weeks more productive way earlier than they ever were.
Right.
Which means I'll have the opportunity to do more recruiting, get more people into my team, and be able to actually maximize my playthrough this time more so than I did the first time, without having to worry about a bunch of like activities that I didn't want to focus on the first. I shouldn't say didn't want to focus on, but I will be able to maximize my time in this game and probably be able to finish it a lot faster because of it. And I'm looking forward to the DLC.
Yeah. Oh God, I didn't even think of DLC. Of course, that's a thing.
They're doing DLC for this game, so
wow.
I bought the season pass just because. So I'm going to see what they do with it, but really good.
What else have you been playing?
I finally, after finishing Fire Emblem, my first playthrough last night, I started playing. I picked Control back up this afternoon. I played a good 3 hours or so of it. That game's pretty fun. It is definitely a game where it feels you have to be much more aggressive than a lot of third-person shooters. Or it pays to, I should say. I mean, you can crouch in that game and go behind cover, but you're not really going to do much because as soon as you aim, you'll pop out and you don't go into cover.
Right.
Your character's also super fragile, so it really pays to be mobile and agile, and spamming your telekinesis powers as much as you can. I'm wondering because I'm playing it on PC with an Xbox controller, Elite controller, and I always have problems when I'm trying to navigate through space and aim at the same time, because you can move around so quickly with some of the telekinesis power. There's one that's a dash that's pretty quick that I just got, that I can sometimes get lost when I'm trying to aim at enemies. And you go down quickly, so you will die fairly quickly in this.
Is there a lock-on system?
Not that I know. There's a lock-on system for the telekinesis powers. So when you when you grab something with your TK, it'll give you a reticle over who you're going to throw it towards, and it's pretty generous. So that's why, I get the sense that this game is you're supposed to be much more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're supposed to be grabbing stuff as much as you can, throwing it at the guys, and then shooting them when you knock them down. The thing I will say is that the enemies actually do react to your shots more so than in a lot of games. So like when I only have two versions of the service weapon, as it's called.
Right.
The standard pistol, and then I unlocked the shotgun today. And that's really cool because when you shoot guys in the head or in the shoulder, they recoil as if you were shooting them in that area. If you shoot them in the leg, it seems like they kind of stumble when you do that. So it's really good about, you can actually throw off enemies. There's been a few encounters where I felt like I didn't quite grasp what I should be doing, other than, there was an enemy who had because they have weird numbers above their head. I don't know what that's supposed to signify, level or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one I've encountered 1s, 2s, and 3s. And the 3 I encountered had just a ton of health. I took down his shields, but it didn't feel like I was doing as much damage as I would think I would be doing. And he just took me out eventually. Luckily, I had already... Sorry, go ahead.
Was it Metroidvania in that way? And it's just that's a enemy you shouldn't go to yet, and you should go a different direction?
No, because technically it seemed like a boss battle after I had completed an objective. But I don't know if I was just missing what the trick was for that guy specifically, because there are certain enemies that you can tell what you should and shouldn't be doing with them.
Right.
Most of the shields, you destroy them pretty quickly with the TK power, so you should be using that. But this guy, it just seemed like I had destroyed his shield, but when you do that, the enemies take more damage from when you shoot them with the gun. And this guy just had so much health that I wasn't doing enough damage, and it wasn't staggering him enough, and he had a machine gun. Luckily, it was after I had completed the objective in the area I was in, and the game is very good about carrying over your progress even if you die. So if you die, you go back to your last quick travel point, but everything you had done past that is completed.
It's a good checkpointing system.
For objectives. The enemies will still reappear if you go back to the area, which is what happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to go back there, so I was like, I'll move on. I already finished the objective.
That's good.
So yeah, control's pretty good. Looks gorgeous. I have a weird issue where it hitches up every time I exit the menu.
I've heard of that.
Okay.
people were complaining about it on PlayStation and Xbox, which is known issues to begin with, but everybody cited the menu.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about,
and it was weird because I tried it out on DirectX 12,
mm-hmm.
and then it was doing that, and I was like, okay, well maybe I'll try it on 11 because 12 technically they say is only if you have ray tracing, you're supposed to use that, and I did, and I was still seeing it today. So I don't know. I have the latest updated graphics. I have a 1080 in there, and I'm not running it at ultra, but I don't know. I don't want to bump it down anymore.
No, menu is just a thing.
It's just a weird thing.
It is weird.
It's like a weird half-second hitch.
That is the game that I've been jonesing to play.
Everybody seems to be all about it.
Everybody, the zeitgeist. I am outside of it looking in, and I'm jealous of everybody being able to play it. But I picked up Astral Chain when it dropped, and then PAX happened, so I didn't play any of it, pretty much. And then this week, life happened, and so I've played like an hour and a half total.
Yeah.
But it's fun so far.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't, because they padded it with so many other things, you know, you're a police officer, you have your legions, you're fighting, you know, demons from another dimension. They have the police office or the police station where you can go talk to people. So there's all these different things that you, in traditional Platinum games, up until Nier really, you didn't do. Bayonetta was, you know, kind of one scenario to the next scenario.
Always
to the
progressing
next
forward.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no downtime.
Exactly. So it's weird to kind of have that. It's a little bit, I won't say clunky. It's not bad.
It's just not their strength.
Yeah, definitely.
They're all about forward progression action, right?
All the stuff you were talking about with Fire Emblem and the writing being good and all that. I can't say that I'm really digging the writing. And it's not bad. It's typical video game-ish. Yeah. It's just very thin. So when you get into the fights, cool, awesome, doing all this cool stuff with your Legion and, you know, all these combo moves you can do with your teammate and you're fighting all these crazy things, but then it stops and then you're talking and talking and menus and talking.
You sound like Dan when we play story-heavy games, where he's just like, I don't want to see all this story.
Well, see, I love story if it's done well.
Yeah.
Like, that... So I'll keep playing. I just hope I don't get this feeling where I'm slogging through the whole thing.
So I was listening to the Waypoint podcast where Austin was basically talking about how the combat wasn't challenging him at all. Have you had that issue? Because he was basically talking about how he could do one combo throughout the entirety of any mission and it would be fine.
See, I haven't had that luck, I guess.
Okay.
I've had a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah,
the dodging mechanic has been something that I've relied on. I've actually had kind of a hard time. I've died a few times.
Okay.
So he is pro gamer, Austin.
I'm just wondering because that's what he was saying.
Yes.
Like, it was weird to hear that and be
right.
Well, this is a Platinum game, right? Like this is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get the sense that because of how much he loves Nier Automata, there's going to always be somewhat of a disappointment when it comes to anything that doesn't reach that plateau.
Agreed.
So,
I love Nier, so I get the feeling. It's also the reason I'm probably always going to buy Platinum games. Of course, I've done since Bayonetta.
Yeah.
I've been just eating up, Vanquish.
It reminds me of everyone would always say, now is this the A team or the B team at Platinum who made this game?
Oh man.
So
yeah, I have no idea. That's because they do contract out for a lot of teams too, and that's where you get Metal Gear Rising and where you get Transformers and TMNT and
But the quality levels, that's why people would always say, was this the A squad or the B squad who worked on this?
No, if I had to guess, they're putting their name on it. It's A squad, and
it's an original IP. It's not based on anything.
I talk about the writing, and if that's the most that I'm going to be worried about, as long as the action is there, and I feel like it is, based on what I've seen so far, I'm going to be fine with it.
Now, are you doing what he did and like listening to a podcast or something else while you're playing it, or are you focused straight on it?
I've been pretty immersed when it comes to the battles.
Cool.
So yeah, I'll keep talking about that one, but Astral Chain is it's good so far.
We'll do our weekly check-ins until you finish it.
And the other one is Wreckfest. I think I talked about that in our last podcast last weekend. It's just fun. It's silly fun. The cars. I'm unlocking cars, and the races are getting a little bit weirder.
Okay.
Like at first we were doing figure eights.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they do like a dog bone shape.
Okay.
Where everybody loops on the ends, and then all the cars are in facing each other.
Crisscrossing each other? That doesn't sound good.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
I was winning a race, and I was like, that's no problem. Oh my God. Because all these
8 cars just collide with each other.
Well, you see like 5 cars coming your way, and you're like, I'll just go to the right. Then they start hitting each other, and then one hits you, and then the guy you're trying to beat hits you, and I still won the race.
Then the third place guy sneaks around you, and you didn't hit anybody.
It is an absolute mess.
The worst place to be is in first place in that game?
Yes, that is probably true. It's hilarious, and it's really funny to watch. It's stressful when you're trying to win, because you have to get points to progress and unlock more cars, unlock more tracks. So that's the only frustration, is if the AI decides, you're going to hit this guy because you don't have a choice in the matter, and we made this course ridiculous.
And you're playing that on PC, right?
PS4.
PS4, okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's out on PC.
How's it running on the baseline PS4?
I'm having just no problems. Loading times suck.
Okay.
Loading, you will wait a good 30, 45, 60 seconds for a race to get underway. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we've ever talked about it on air of any kind, but the biggest gain that they need to make in these next consoles is that. And they've talked about it.
Yes,
they have. Both companies
Spider-Man
are like,
what, 20 seconds is down to 0.8 seconds or whatever on Spider-Man.
I mean, Microsoft has said they're going to have, solid state memory in their next console as well. So.
Yes. I don't think it'll be a problem. I did a solid state upgrade on PlayStation 3 because I had Gran Turismo 5. Yeah. I was like, I'm so sick of loading, and that's the only game I really wanted it for. So I threw a solid state in there. Loading times really did go down from a minute down to 20 seconds.
Well, it's weird about the PlayStation ones, the 3 and the 4, is that they never recommended a full-on solid state drive. They always recommended one of those hybrid drives to get the most games out of it. Which
I don't know why that was.
Weird. Yeah. Just the input I/O probably was just faster overall.
I don't know.
Those. But yeah, I mean, solid state drives on a PC are always going to win over any console.
Yes. Yeah. So my PlayStation 3, I had the 20 gig version, so I upgraded to a 40 gig solid state drive. Gran Turismo 5 took up most of it. Yeah. This was 4 or 5 years ago.
I remember, solid state drives.
Yeah, they've not been cheap. But
now I've got a 400 gigabyte solid state flash card in my Switch.
God, that
200. No, 200 in my Switch. I have a 400 in my Surface Book.
Yeah, I have a 128 in my Switch, and so it is wild to think that a whole ass hard drive,
something that is the size of your pinky nail.
The one that's a deck of card size is a quarter of what it is that I have in there. It's wild, but Wreckfest is fun. People should play it if they like car games and crashing games, and it doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever.
Now the controls, it's not it's not simmy then, it's more arcadey?
So that's the good part about it.
You can do either or, right?
I've not touched any of the settings.
Okay.
The handling is simmy in that the cars feel right. They feel like cars. And there is some sort of arcadiness in that it's a racing game and that's not meant to be a sim. But the cars are respectable. They're not Ridge Racer. They feel like they're a car with suspension, and you're doing wild stuff with them, and you don't ever get caught up in like, too much, not enough traction and oversteering, and you do all that, but it doesn't feel.
So this is more this is on the Forza Horizon end of the spectrum.
Great way of putting it. Yeah. Yes.
Because, I mean, that is, as somebody who is not a huge sim racing person, those are the sim racers that I like. Like the Forza Horizons, it's a step above Burnout Paradise when it comes to how simmy it is, quote unquote. But I still wanted a Burnout Paradise. So get on that EA. Anyways.
So that's what we've been
playing. All right. So why don't we roll into the news?
Yeah.
So you talked about and posted on the Discord some pretty box art for PlayStation 4 games.
Yes, the PlayStation only collection.
instead of calling it a greatest hits, I guess, or are they charging full price for these?
I don't know. I didn't look at pricing. I only looked at the pretty box art.
Okay. Well.
But it's very minimalist art. So symbols as opposed to like an actual shot from the game. Yes. So the God of War box art, it's a blue rectangle with I think the dark blue sword that he has. Axe. Yes, that's right. It's Norse.
Ask him a question.
Very simplified versions.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I could see people hanging these on the wall. They look really good.
It's good artwork.
It is very good artwork.
Yeah.
I don't know when those come out. I don't know what the prices are, but it's everybody. A lot of people are going to buy a game for the themed time because they want these pretty boxes.
I just buy my stuff digitally, so it's like not even a thing for me really anymore.
Well,
there are plenty. Hey, more power to everybody out there buying physical copies of games. I know that there's a market for it. Like there were at least 3 booths at PAX that had small indie game boxes that they were doing
limited run. Yeah.
What is the other one? There's one other that was there.
There was?
The Windjammers people had like physical stuff, and then there was that other booth near the Fangamer booth that had physical, like a bunch of stuff that wasn't limited run.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's a thing still. Yep. I mean, it's not helping GameStop stay in business. But, but yes, physical copies of things. I actually bought Astral Chain physical because why not? I didn't see the.
I mean, they're selling vinyl indie game soundtracks at PAX.
Have owned 1 or 2.
Yeah. Owned or own?
I own Katamari.
Yeah. Well,
that one's
I
wonderful.
I bought an import CD for that game. I could have probably just found it digitally somewhere, but I wanted a physical copy of that game. Speaking of Katamari, I bought a bunch of Katamari stuff at PAX, and that shirt and pin is fantastic.
Yes, that pin was cool with the ball that actually rolls.
Yes.
It's good.
Anyways, that's it for the PlayStation box art. Chris, you posted this as well. Apparently, Kojima doesn't necessarily want you to play his game.
No, it's an option. He's making a walking simulator. More options for the players.
For the walking simulator, if it's too complex for you, he is enabling what he has called the very easy mode.
And his tweet described it for movie fans.
For movie fans, because we all know that Kojima basically wants to make movies.
This is now a movie.
He has now turned this thing into a movie. He referred to a Japanese developer who could not beat the first level of Pac-Man being able to beat this game with the very easy mode.
Yes.
So if you really want to have an experience, Chris, I suggest you get Death Stranding and you let Crystal play on very easy mode.
Yeah, that's actually. I'll give it a try. Yeah. I don't know that she'll be interested.
Hey,
why is that ladder?
Uh-huh.
Why are we just walking? And I won't blame her when she
when she checks out, and then you're like, all right, let's get this into hardcore gamer mode.
I was just when he posted this, and I posted this.
Yes.
I was just thinking Red Dead Redemption, the travel mode where you can kind of check out of the game.
Oh yeah, you mean the thing I had to use constantly because I didn't want to sit there spending 10 minutes going to the other ass end of the map.
Yes.
I'd listen to the conversations that they were having, but I don't want to sit there moving a stick slightly to the left or slightly to the right. And if something did come up, which you would hear it in the back, while it was going, you could bop right into it and do it.
It was kind of hilarious when they ran into stuff, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'd just be watching your guy go along and he'd run into a carriage or something. Yeah, but one of my favorite parts of that game still is that when the D'Angelo song hits, and I put it in that mode, and I was just like, "This is so cool."
Yeah. But that is still a technical marvel from a presentation standpoint.
I actually wish shooting wasn't in that game as much. I liked everything else. The shooting is not great.
Shooting was fine.
It's okay. It's just not amazing.
It was.
The way everything else is kind of amazing.
No, there were bigger problems with that game than the shooting, and we've talked about this to death. The
how good it is.
I mean, like I said, it's a fantastic game as the word game is used as a whole.
Yes.
But there are problems with that thing that just baffle me that made it into the final product. They took you on a ride, literally and metaphorically, with that game. And while I'm glad where it ended up, there's about 30 hours or so of that game that could have been cut.
Can't argue with that.
Still giving me the same satisfaction.
Can't argue with that.
So, anyways, also in other news, Nintendo, as they are wont to do, dropped another Direct with a focus on games in 2019, but showed several games not coming out in 2019.
Animal Crossing.
I mean, I understand. There are many passionate people looking forward to Animal Crossing.
We are dozens and hundreds.
I never got into the Animal Crossing thing. I played on the DS for a bit when that one came out. And when they locked you out of progress in that game...
KK Slider's a musical genius.
You're not going to get any blowback from me on this game. I've got no animosity towards Animal Crossing. I just don't have the reverence that people have for it.
And it's not a 2019 game.
No, it's coming out in 2020.
Do you know what is a 2019 game?
There's several of them.
Some of your favorites? I have a list here of the ones I thought were kind of big deals, and you added one?
I just added this one because it was so batshit insane that they just kind of announced this on a Nintendo Direct in the beginning of September.
What game is it, John?
They're making a sequel to Deadly Premonition.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a Giant Bomb fan, one of their earliest endurance runs was all of them in pairs playing through the entirety of Deadly Premonition. That game is weird. That game has no business being... I don't know how it was made. It's got open world stuff in it, but it's got a Twin Peaks style story. Is it self-serious? And this all comes down to who made the game. So if you know who Swery is, if you've looked up any of his games, you'll know what this is.
So, tangent. I know Swery.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played a lot of his games.
No.
But one of the funniest tweets I saw today is that he's the Bill Murray of the video game world.
Oh, yeah. You all have a story about him, but nobody's
going to believe you.
Yeah, nobody's going to believe you. Yeah, he is what I would consider the less up his own ass, self-serious Kojima. Because he has a vision. Kojima's got a vision. Swery's got a vision. But Kojima is deadly serious about his vision in most cases.
I feel like Kojima, other people put him in a place. I feel like the two could be comparable.
Sure.
And it's just everyone else holds a certain reverence for the wildness that is Metal Gear.
I don't know. That last Death Stranding thing at the Gamescom opening night, as Jeff Gerstmann put it, or one of the people on the Giant Bombcast referred to it as masturbatory. Whereas Swery's just like, I'm going to make a weird game. I hope you like it. He made a game called D4 that used the Kinect on the Xbox One. If you have not played that game, we did a video of it at one point where I was playing with the Kinect. That's a wild one, because it's a weird game that we're never going to find out the end to because it got canceled. I played some of his game. His last game, J.J. McCaulfield, I believe is what it's called. I forget the exact title. But that was an interesting one. It had some weird, it had a weird art style. It was a side scroller, but your character could basically destroy their body and use it to solve puzzles. So, and I know he's working on a game called The Good Life, I want to say it is.
Ooh, I have no idea.
That was Kickstarted or Fig funded. I can't remember which one, but it was crowdfunded. But yeah, they're also releasing the first game, or they did release the first game. They dropped it the day of that Direct, I believe, or maybe the day after. But yeah, that was just I was watching the Giant Bomb stream as it was going on, and watching their reaction to it gave me so much joy, because they are the ones who like they're one of the people I know who spearheaded people knowing about that game, like and showing off how weird it was. And like I said, it's apparently a long game, so if you don't want to play it but you want to see how weird that story gets, just watch that endurance run because there's some funny stuff in there. What else do we have during that direct?
Some big announcements. Well, they started with Overwatch, which I think
leaked earlier that morning.
Yes. Well, Walmart leaked it like a week earlier because they did a case.
Yeah, there's weird
that had Overwatch characters. Anyways, yeah. So it was leaked, but that's pretty big deal. Just in the sense of how many people might not be playing on other consoles or on PCs, but have a Switch now. And
it's another Blizzard game on the platform. Yes, you know, they did Diablo 3 on it, and now they're doing Overwatch.
Obra Dinn, which I did not play, have not played.
I have it on my PC. I've never gotten around to it. I have heard amazing things.
I think it's gonna be the Switch that gets me to play it, so I'm a little bit hyped on that. Divinity 2.
We're shouting that out for Dan, because Dan's the Divinity 2 stan.
I love Divinity 1.
Okay.
I played 40 hours of Divinity 1 a few years back.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Didn't get to finish it just because it's hard to finish RPGs. But when Dan did tell us that Divinity 2 was that much better, and I've heard from many sources that the writing is amazing in this one, so this might be up my alley and and it's out already.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that it's got Steam save.
Yes, cross
saves with it, which I'm like, what?
Civilization and this game are the only two that do that.
That's so wacky.
Yeah. So those were like the kind of the PC games coming to Switch, which is a wild thing in and of itself. That PC games are coming to a portable platform.
Yep.
With cross saves.
Hey man, Nintendo's like, whatever, bro. Put it on our console.
And then just some other ones that were on there. Untitled Goose Game comes out the 20th of this month.
Which we found out at PAX.
Yes.
Which is exciting.
Oh, I bought the shirt.
Nice. Is it a good shirt?
Yes, it's a great shirt. No, I have not. I need to wash it.
Oh, okay.
Zelda Link's Awakening comes out on the 20th, so those two overlap.
I'm so excited for that game.
When does Control fit into this? When does Divinity 2 fit into this? My life. I need more hours, more days.
Chris. I don't know, man. You gotta do the Vinny Caravella and be like, for Christmas, honey, take the kids. Not during Christmas.
If I didn't sleep for 48 hours, I couldn't finish all these games.
No, I'm just saying, give you like a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
Where they go away somewhere and leave you to play.
Imagine how disgusting I'd be at the end of that.
Oh, you'd love it though.
Pagan slop.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest is the other one that comes out this month on the 27th.
That game was very popular. It's apparently like. Hearing that Jeff Gerstmann played through that entire game, pretty much that entire game, like he doesn't really play JRPGs, right. But the fact that he enjoyed that makes me think there's something to it.
I jumped into the demo. I played an hour, I think. I've actually really liked the demo. It is a JRPG-esque game, but it's very charming. The music is great, which pains me to say because of the guy's not such a great guy.
And Kevin played through that whole game too. Yeah, he loved it.
So. I've heard nothing but good things. So too many games once again, especially on the Switch, which is great and terrible all at the same time.
Yep. So speaking of the Switch, Chris, one of people's biggest gripes about that platform is they don't have a way to use a wireless headset or a Bluetooth headset on that thing.
I live that daily.
Yeah, because it's got Bluetooth in it. But they only use it for the controllers,
which is ridiculous.
It seems ridiculous from like a perspective of if you don't think about it from a tech perspective. But the Bluetooth connectivity, the more devices that are going in and out of that connectivity, the more latency you can induce. And since they're using it for the controllers, if they were to add in a headset to that, it could create weird issues. So I would rather them do something like this, which is a third party, in this case Steel Series, who makes excellent headsets, I can attest to. Have several of them, or a couple of them, versions. I've tried them in the past. They have come out, with a version that is now compatible with the Switch wirelessly.
It has a USB-C dongle that you plug in the bottom, which is not unique, because a lot of machines have done, or a lot of third parties have created that plug-in for the USB-C to Bluetooth.
Yep.
And that's how a lot of people are getting wireless headsets. But this one is supposed to be without latency, uses the 2.4 gigahertz band instead of Bluetooth.
It's also it's not too obtrusive. The dongle looks pretty small, like it's a little rectangle. The other good thing about this is that they, one of the questions people had, well, what if I dock my Switch? Well, they've thought of that.
Yeah, they did.
They include an attachment that'll allow you to plug the USB-C dongle into the side USB port of your Switch.
Yep, of the dock.
Yes.
Yes. It's $100. I'm tempted, like super tempted. There might be a week where I'm like, Chris deserves something this week, and I end up buying it, which is going to be a mistake, but it's a mistake I'll live with.
Maybe you put it on your Christmas wish list,
and
that somebody gets it for you as an extravagant gift.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see, but it is tempting. John did let me try his SteelSeries headsets. They are very comfortable. They're very well made. Sound is good. Just spend $100 on headsets, they better be.
Well, I mean, the one I'm using right now is I bounce around from headsets. I'm using that Logitech Pro X version.
Oh, that's right. You just picked that up.
Which I was using this afternoon, and that's a really good headset. But it's wired. Like that's always I always want a wireless headset if possible.
Same.
But if this headset has all this tech in it, I'm gonna try it out because it's supposed to be that much better.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if I get that in the future, and we'll talk about it then.
Yep. You put Ubiplay Service $15 a month.
Yeah, I thought somebody might want to talk about this that plays like Assassin's Creed or...
I'm just going to buy the Assassin's Creed games. I'm not giving Ubisoft $15 a month for a subscription service.
If they released a game every 4 months that made sense for you to buy, then that pays for itself all year.
But they don't.
They don't.
So...
And you don't want the back catalog?
I've already got all the back catalog that I want. I've bought it all.
Yeah, that's true.
See, that's the thing. I buy their games.
See, I put it on there just because I want to put it out in the world.
Yeah.
Other people should know. It's not my deal. I don't know the last time I played a Ubisoft game.
I know this is going to sound like home teamy for me, but get Game Pass Ultimate. Like, if you have a console, or if you have a PC, get PC Game Pass instead. Yes. Like, that is such a better deal. And if you're just buying the PC one, it's cheaper.
Yeah, what is it, $60 for a year?
$5 a month? Yeah, it's like it's inexpensive. It is not, and for the amount of games you get and the amount of content that they're cycling into that thing, like Devil May Cry got added to the Game Pass.
Yes, Ultimate. I downloaded it actually.
That game is really pretty. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing other than the level and a half I played a couple years ago.
Right,
but. The options available. Slay the Spire got added to that.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
And that game is great.
Yeah, that's been worth.
That's like 70 hours of gameplay right there, and you'll only beat the thing once, and then you'll never play it again because you know that it's just gonna mock you.
See, it's funny business wise. It makes sense keeping up with everybody else. Ubisoft almost had to do this, but I feel like their catalog does. It's hard to say that because their catalog is so deep. It makes sense that they're doing this. But I don't think, and this is me personally, I don't think it has the value to carry. Maybe if I wanted to play a game of theirs, and for a month, $15 is worth it, but it's not enough to keep me going or continue paying for it.
Microsoft just released Gears of War 5. And if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you have access to the Ultimate Edition of the game right now.
Yeah, I am.
Which is all the bells and whistles version.
Still won't get it.
But I mean, that game has gotten some very interesting reviews, like this version of the game. Like, there are some people who are really excited about what they've done with the game, and there are some people who are just like, I didn't like it.
If you were going to be a Gears player anyways, you should be on Ultimate Pass.
Well, I mean, I watched the quick look. Jeff Gerstmann's like, if you have Game Pass, play this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's already paid for.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, Ubisoft, you would play... like you said, probably 2 games a year on it, maybe.
Yeah, which you buy. Just buy it. Nope, I think we're in agreement there. But they had to do it. I think they would be better off if they could somehow outsource it to someone else, like Netflixy. Mm-hmm. If there was a third party that did streaming and they added their service to it.
Yeah, if they added their service. That's the thing. It should be an add-on as opposed to a self-serving service.
So it should be added into Game Pass. It should be added into something like that opposed to their own.
I mean... we know EA Access is a thing that I subscribe to, and I don't use nearly enough. But that's $30 a year.
Right. That's not...
Like, that's nothing.
No.
And the fact that it gives me access to, like, all the Mass Effect games in a back capacity,
Yep.
Like, that justifies it for me. And if I occasionally do want to jump into a preview for a game, like an Anthem or something like that, and try it out,
yep,
that's more than made up for the cost of that. But
how
$15 a month?
Didn't like thousands of people do the $5 first month just for Anthem, and then I wonder what the retention rate was on that.
There's a bunch of stuff like people did, like when they did the Game Pass Ultimate thing, people jumped on the $1 for a month of Game Pass and played a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. And
then like didn't necessarily re-up, but there are some people who did.
Yeah, I paid the $1 just to convert my existing gold into
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Moving on. I put this in the Discord just for Dan because we've talked about it so much. This is a shout out to you, Dan. Cube World, apparently, per Austin Walker's retweet, I should say, has a release date. And he basically said, I am cursing this by retweeting this. So that's a long, forlorn game that apparently hasn't been in development this entire time. And I think the developers teased people for years when they talk about what they've been playing on it, but they say it's coming out.
I don't know anything about Cube World. It was for Dan. Shouts out to Dan.
Yeah, it was
it's coming.
He loved it. If it comes out, I'm sure he will go back to it for a hot minute and we'll see how disappointed he is afterwards. All right, we'll stop it. We'll do the last Nintendo stuff at the very end. Chris, what have you been watching?
So
you have a lot here.
Yeah, it's anime. All anime.
Chris's anime minute.
Yeah, so Demon Slayer on Crunchyroll. Go watch that. It's got really good action.
What's the premise?
A young boy has a poor family, lives in the mountains. He goes down to the city, comes back to his cabin. His whole family's been killed by a demon.
Okay.
His sister's the only one who survives, and then he finds out that she actually was turned into a demon by the other demon. He then dedicates his life to being a Demon Slayer ninja, and he goes around killing lots of demons. It's very bloody.
Present or past? Set in present or past or near future?
Like past Japanese feudal time. It's very cool to look at, very well animated. The action is actually really awesome. And then I put 3 on here. They're all musical based, and that's kind of there was a weird theme. So
sure,
I like music anime. I watched Beck Mongolian Chop Squad many years ago. I've actually watched it twice. Okay. I love the music, and
Epro's a great album.
Which one?
Sorry.
It's
a bad joke. It's called Beck Mongolian. And it's just like they're gonna try and sell you on your Taycan levels.
So everybody should watch that.
Okay.
And then Carole and Tuesday.
Sure.
It's a very poppy version of that where it's 2 girls that want to, make it big.
Okay.
And they play music. I like the music. And then I just started watching one today called Given, and it's about high school kids, just a bunch of guys that are trying to get into a band or start a band, I should say. I like those kinds of anime. They're very easy to watch, easy to invest in.
Okay.
So those are what I've been watching.
All right. That's a lot of anime.
Yeah, Demon Slayer, Carole and Tuesday, Given, and then everybody should watch Beck.
All right. Chris, what's I see 2 cars on here.
Yes.
What are we talking about cars for?
In our car discussion.
The Honda E, I believe, is the electric vehicle one that you posted in there?
Both of these are electric
vehicles. Oh, they're both electric vehicles.
That's why they're... So, yes.
So you got both ends of the what is it, luxury spectrum here, right?
Yes. The coolest part about the Honda E is it looks like one of the original cars that Honda imported back in the 70s.
Okay.
So the whole little Civic CVCCs. Yeah. It's a little hatchback, got the little round headlights. I love that look. I love this car.
You buying that car?
No.
Why not, Chris?
It's too small for a family and dogs.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Otherwise, I would.
How many people was it sit?
It'll sit 4, but it's 2 doors.
Oh, it's okay. It's only 2 door. Oh, okay. I looked at the picture. I didn't look deep in it.
The hatch isn't very big, but
all right.
152 horsepower. It'll go 130 miles on a charge, which is for most people in a day.
Plenty. For me.
That's more than enough for almost everybody.
But unfortunately, with my apartment living, electric vehicles are out of the.
That is hard.
Yeah.
And here it's kind of unique. A lot of other apartments that have garages may have EV.
Yeah.
hookups. So I mean, there's ways, but
I mean, I work at a place where they have EV hookups,
right.
So technically, I have a place to charge something like that, but it's just not practical.
Totally understandable, yeah. And so that car excites me. I don't have a price or a release date, but this is pretty much the production version. Very cool looking car.
So this is coming out. This is going to be a thing.
Yes. And then the Porsche Taycan. Taycan, I'm not sure how it's...
Toucan Sam?
Yeah.
Fruit Loops, gotcha.
750 horsepower.
That's too many horsepower.
0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds.
Okay.
And it will go 280 miles on a charge.
Sure.
It's going to be $174,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right, so so both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful looking car. They raced it around the Nürburgring because of course they did. And now all the Tesla fanboys are coming out of the woodwork to defend it because the Tesla will technically do 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds in ludicrous mode.
Yeah, but there's other cars that are electric that go faster than
and what's
too,
the
right?
point?
This is the fact that this goes so far is the more impressive thing about it that you should think about, as opposed to like that much horsepower. I'm sure you're not getting all that horsepower when you're going that far.
No.
I wonder how fast it'll go when you're maximizing range.
I think, and I think the Tesla even has it beat there. I think Teslas usually do 300 plus miles on a charge. But the big part here is it's a big name car company creating a Tesla fighter, fighting in their arena. It costs more, yes, but you're getting a Porsche.
Yeah.
You're not getting an upstart brand, and yes, the Tesla's established, and I don't mean to demean it in any way.
It's established up here, for God's sakes. Like, they're everywhere. For sure. Jesus.
Yeah, the West Coast in general.
Yeah.
But yes, it's exciting news to see Porsche getting into that arena, having the performance they're getting. It's going to be interesting to see what everybody thinks about the driving dynamics, the interiors, all that fun stuff.
Well, I mean, heck, I've watched enough of the Grand Tour / Top Gear that, like, as much as they are petrol heads, like, they've gotten in those electric cars and they go, these things are impressive. Like,
yes,
they go fast.
100% torque from 0 RPM is always going to be impressive to everybody.
Yeah.
I just, the more we talk about electric cars, and as much as I still love gas cars, it's important to make that switch over.
Oh, yeah.
And this is it's not going to help it in numbers, but it's slowly becoming a pillar.
It's the same thing as the F1 racers. Like, the whole point of that series is technically to drive innovation in cars, right? Like,
it's happening. I mean,
and they do it. Like, that's what they do. Like, stuff that we take for granted nowadays as negligible are things that came from, like, a ridiculous, opulent racing league that doesn't really appeal to a whole lot of people. Yes,
more and more. It's harder to see that link, but yes, it still exists. It's still there.
It's still a thing. Like,
yes. So yeah, I'm really excited about electric cars. We're going to keep talking about them, I'm sure.
Cool.
I'll still throw in a lot of classic car stuff.
You watching much Formula E? I've heard that series is extremely entertaining to watch.
So the only thing with Formula E, the problem last year was that you had to switch cars, which is absolutely insane.
I love that. That's so silly.
The reason I can't get with it is because it's so hard to tune a car to perform properly, and then to halfway through the race say, all that work you did, fuck it. Now go into a new car that is different.
That's a very logical, reasoned explanation.
Right. I understand why from the outside it looks like, whatever. But yeah, I had a problem with that because of that reason. But they also had problems with the recharging and all that. No longer an issue. And halfway through the season, they found that it wasn't an issue. It's just they had the mandatory stop anyways.
Yeah. So they got rid of that rule?
Yes. So this year you're in the same car because the battery technology has come so far in a year and a half that it's no longer an issue that you have to switch the car out. The problem I have is the horsepower limitation. The tires aren't very good compared to actual race cars. Once they get that sorted in that they allow more power and they allow more tire, I think you're going to see much more exciting racing. But
it's still pretty entertaining.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
The other part is they always do street circuits. Yeah. The problem is...
you want some racing circuits in there mixed in.
If you watch like IndyCar, when you have street circuits, you always have crashes.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of end of story.
Oh, yeah. Same thing with NASCAR, too.
Yes.
Like the street circuit, the ones that are not in oval are where all of the bad crashes occur.
Yes. But yeah, if they were able to get onto a couple race courses, I think it would make the racing much more interesting. And they're getting, ex F1 drivers in there, so it's not nothing. And big car, I think that's going to be the big driver now. Is you have Jaguar, you have Porsche, you have Peugeot,
stuff that isn't in Formula 1.
Yes, exactly. And so it's going to become more prominent. I'm waiting for that, the power increase and the tire increase. I'm excited for that.
Nice. And then they also have I think they have a Formula W, right, as well, a women's racing league that's also pretty cool.
Yeah, they did. I forget how many races, but they've already crowned their champion. The cool part that the lady who won gets, because to qualify for F1 you have to get points.
Yeah.
FIA points, and she gets
points for
a
FIA
good amount.
license.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's not likely she gets signed to an F1 team necessarily.
But that's something though, right? It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. That's exactly it. And I was happy to see that. The cars were pretty cool too.
Speaking of a whole lot of not nothing, we're going to end this podcast on the randomness that is us looking through the Nintendo eShop earlier.
That was a mess.
Oh boy,
I love it.
Because I don't look through that thing very often. I usually just buy what I want to buy on the Switch. So, and it's usually either in the like new releases or best selling section. But I took a look through the great deals section today, and man, oh man, do they have the gamut of emotions in there. The bargain basement price 19-cent games that are marked at 80% or 90% off.
Yeah.
Which means they're only normally like $1.50, to the overpriced, overcharged WWE 2K18 Deluxe Edition for $25
on sale.
On sale. Man, oh man, yeah, that thing is a mess to look at, but a glorious mess, because I looked at it and I went, "Hey, Chris, you should buy this for your kids. It's only 50 cents.
Yeah,
you can spend that and get rid of, have them be occupied for 2 hours."
Yes.
So
no, it's true. I go usually weekly because they update the sales about every week or so. I'll jump in there and just see what's good. Like I told you, I bought that Sonic game, XION.
That's listed at $30 now.
$29.99 now. I got it for 89 cents last week.
Yeah, that's a deal.
Yeah, somebody tweeted it, and I was I'll get that for 89 cents. Sure. I have taken chances on some games, and it's funny, because you'll see those games every once in a while jump into the top sellers list. Like, I think there was a game, and it got on Kotaku the first time it happened, 19 cents.
Yeah.
And it was top seller for like a week.
It's 19 cents?
Right.
You're spending a quarter on that game with tax.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you just decide to take the chance?
I always wonder what the devs are getting out of it. Just exposure or sales numbers for their next game. I don't know.
If they get 10,000 people to spend a quarter on it,
they get $2,500.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
That's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
That's rent and, a nice dinner. Or,
if it's a team of people, I don't know.
Well, I don't think these are made by teams of people.
Sure.
Or if they are made by teams of people, these are teams of people who are churning this stuff out in like a week.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
But yes,
absolute if it's your passion project, I would love to know. If I'm throwing this out into the ether, if you have a passion project that has somehow made it onto the eShop as a 19-cent bargain title, please let us know. Tweet at unique_drops.
And send us codes.
I will buy your game. If you actually contact us and tell us it's your passion project, I will spend the 19 to 49 cents.
Yes.
I would even spend the $1.49 on
We'll make John stream it and beat it.
I will play your game.
Yeah.
So.
But I love the eShop now compared to, and this is what we were talking about towards the end. The old Nintendo way was so curated that it felt like
it's very Apple-esque almost in its
curation. Well, God, the App Store is horrible still, but it's more like third-party peripherals for Apple products.
Yeah.
Like you had to have that chip, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, your stuff wouldn't work.
Yeah.
They used to do it that way, where there's like, every game has to come through us. Every game has to be approved, and if we don't like it, we won't approve it.
Yeah, I mean, all the platforms were like that at one point.
Right. So you wouldn't get the indie games, and even when they said that we're going to do indie games, I want to say on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I don't remember that ever really coming to fruition in any serious way.
It was not. People were not adopting it because that platform was not as popular as the Switch has become. So now that we've got, the real version of the Vita.
God, I love the Vita. I have a lot of indie games for the Vita too.
Yeah. And how many of you bought for the Switch that you had on the Vita?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. The big, and I had read this somewhere and I can't remember where, but Nintendo leaned on publishers that they trust and said, we're going to let you guys kind of throw up whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a publisher with some repute and you have a contract with Microsoft, you can throw what you have on there if it's in your, if it'll port over. And so that's how we've gotten some booby games and card games, and we got a clock simulator. Clock simulator was 39 cents. 39 cents. It's good to see that. I'd rather have...
And they're also able to set their own prices, too, which is interesting on that platform as well. It's not like they don't have to be rigidly set at the $5, $10, $15, $20, and then 30, 40, 60.
So I like that we're seeing so many games, even simple ports of Android games. You're getting a lot of ports of older games and getting them at prices that, are allowing people to just try out different things that they wouldn't normally. Like, I know a lot of people that have Switches that don't have PlayStation or Xbox, and
that's surprising to me. But
I don't know.
To me, it's just
right.
Like, that's cool to me.
You remember when they called everything Nintendo?
Yeah.
That's still a thing for some people.
A lot of people bought the Wii.
Yeah, but yes. So this absolute avalanche of games that they're doing a terrible job of managing.
Hey, yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'd rather see all these games available to us and have to slog through it, which I do on a weekly basis.
All right, new segment, next weekly segment. Chris tells us the best of the week.
The best of
Switch
the
shop,
shit?
the Switch eShop.
Yeah, I've scraped.
I need a couple.
The bottom of the barrel.
Just give us a couple.
Okay, no, I will take a look. This week it's Clock Simulator.
And there was that other Dark Souls, the one that I saw, the Dark Souls Combat in a little 2D sprite.
I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah, but it was 49 cents. And I was like, no, I'm good.
We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
But yes, if they could do a better job of filtering, just add some filters at the top.
Genre filters.
RPGs. Let me sort by dollar amount.
Sure.
Yeah. Some very basic things. Even A to Z, because maybe you know of a game and you can't think of it. I guess you could search, but
still.
Yes. Give me filters. That's all I need. I don't need you guys to do any more than you are, except adding filters, and you don't have to manage those. So I think that would be a great solution in the short term. Longer term, they should probably just find a way to make the shop a little bit more visually appealing.
It's the Switch. It plays games.
Before we leave,
what do you got?
You showed me your new Toya.
Oh yes, I did pick up. Dan graciously allowed me to use his Elite Hasbro Pulse account to access a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which I ordered in line while we were waiting to get into PAX.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I got a combo pack of the Red Ranger from the original Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jason, and also his second iteration as a Ranger, the Zeo Gold Ranger, which he inherited from another character who had to go off and do some business at his home planet. I think it was the premise behind it. It's on the back of the box. I forget the character's name, like Triss or Trey something. It's.
I'm thinking of the dog in The Simpsons.
No, it's not Poochie. he was actually a character, but yes, he did have to go. And so Jason inherited that Zeo Ranger power. It's a cool looking toy. The best part is it comes with the weapon that is combined of all 5 of the Rangers, like hand weapons that they would have. Because the thing about
that was the coolest part when you showed me that.
Because it actually comes apart, all the weapons detach.
Yeah.
Which means that if I get the rest of the Rangers, they all have their weapons.
Yes.
Except I remember the Blue Ranger's weapon is a spear where the 2 blades attach to it. But this only has the 2 blades, so it'll look a little weird.
So there's no stick?
So maybe I have to get a toothpick or something, paint it blue, and just, I'll have to custom make something.
You would hope that
unless the actual figure comes with the actual spear. I just thought it was very cool that it was not one singular piece, piece of plastic.
I love that they have that. I forgot about that bow gun thing.
That thing's great.
Yes.
because that was like their first. They would use that first on the monsters
before it went to Zords.
Before it would go to Zords, like, and they actually finished some episodes with just that weapon. Yeah. So they didn't always get in the Zords.
Always disappointing when that happens, though.
That was for some of the early episodes because I mean, if you had the Zords all the time, they became less special.
Yes.
And that's why they would only bring out the Brontosaurus and the Dragon Zord.
Don't tell 11-year-old me that, though.
I know.
I need Zords.
Yeah. They can't always bring out the Dragon Zord and the Brontosaurus to combine with all the rest of the Zords into the super, like, riding Zord that didn't actually fight. It just kind of rolled and then destroyed the monster because it shot all of its... I remember that thing had like a weird death blossom that it would just like shit would just fly out of that thing and then the monster would just explode and die. It would like shoot mortars and
it was
like
awesome.
Weird.
Yes,
what looked like Roman candles and flowers out of it.
Yep. That was
Oh yeah.
I told you the story that I hung out with a kid just because he had that. And
I was a teenager, but fuck you. That Power Rangers was cool because it was a Japanese show that got somehow managed to blow up here in America.
This was before I knew that was a Japanese show.
Yeah, same here. I didn't know it was
Dragon Ball. I used to watch Dragon Ball. It was on at 7:30 in the morning. I didn't even know that it was Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize why it wasn't set with all the other cartoons.
That was how I watched the very first episodes of Dragon Ball I saw. On some random station where like I just saw a random episode here and there. No continuity.
Nope.
No any way to keep track of where you are in the storyline.
This was Red Ribbon Army.
Like Android Saga before pre-Cell?
No. I'm talking
original Dragon Ball.
Original.
Oh, so the Red Ribbon Army. Dr. Giro before he became an android type stuff.
No, you don't see that guy.
Oh, he's not in that?
I forget the names of the characters, but Goku's fighting bad guys and saving the day kind of thing. There was continuity week to week, and I didn't realize it. And it was totally foreign to me in that way.
Yeah. So they just announced today I got an email from one of the toy stores that I shop at that they're doing a version of Tao Pai Pai from the original Dragon Ball, figure arts version.
You have a picture?
Yeah, I'll go. Let me get to the picture right here. Come on, let me get to the... You're not gonna do it? There it is. Okay. You would probably recognize him. I'm not the biggest on my Dragon Ball, but that's...
Yeah.
I do appreciate the fact that the back of his gi says "kill you."
So that was part of when Goku was actually fighting in tournaments.
Yeah.
I never got to that part when I was watching as a kid.
You've only gotten to that part as an adult?
Yes. So
it's a cool looking figure.
He has
a weird
disjointed experience.
Pink log under him that he comes with at some point.
That's weird.
But yeah, the figure arts figures are so spectacular. Like, I might have to get this because I don't have enough villains for my Dragon Ball characters. I've got Goku, I've got Kid Goku, I've got Super Saiyan Goku. I have Saiyan Vegeta, but he's technically not a bad guy.
He is. He's a bad guy. That's when he's a bad guy.
That's bad guy Vegeta.
That's bad guy Vegeta. Right.
I need a Piccolo, but unfortunately,
bad guy Piccolo.
They have two different versions. They've got Dragon Ball Z Piccolo, and then they have King Piccolo from Dragon Ball as well.
Yeah.
The figure art figures are spectacular. Like I said, I want to get a shelf up so that I can put everybody together and have them all displayed very nicely.
All right, PPS, last thing. 1 week removed from PAX. What has stuck with you? What is something that has it left an impression?
I posted it in the Discord. It's that Sayonara Wild Hearts. Like, I can't get that song out of my head. Like the one where you're fighting the three girls on the bike. Like that song. Like I just can't get it out of my. It's so good. Like it's got me juiced. The Claire de Lune's first level is really good, but there's something about that the catchiness of that song and the way it crescendo how it goes, it's just good. Like I listened to it at least 3 or 4 times this week because I like that song so much. I hope the rest of the game is just as good. And it seems cool because like I watched the trailer again and it does seem like each of the gangs has a different musical style that they're based in. So I'll be interested to see what that does. but hopefully we get an announcement of that release date soon. Yeah, that and probably just that Spiritfarer demo being as good as it was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Spiritfarer left an impression. Spring Falls.
Yep.
It was that was
the mobile game that's like super chill.
Yes, I'm excited to get into that. It's not a game that I'm going to beat that, but I think it'll be a fun experience.
I know Spiritfarer is going to be good because one of my coworkers I asked about, she was only there at PAX one day, and that was one of the things she saw and played. So I know that's going to be a spectacular title.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then highlight of my weekend, I think, was meeting Jan Ochoa and Michael Hyam.
Shout outs to the Filipino connection.
Yeah, man. It's real. It happened.
That's cool.
Yeah, they took time out. I mean, we hung out there for 45 minutes.
Yeah, Jan was like apologizing to us. He's like, I gotta bag this stuff.
Oh yeah, no,
like, no, man, you do what you gotta do.
Dude was working hard in his barong.
Yeah, he was. They put on an exceptional show. Him and Abby.
Did you watch the video of it on YouTube?
I haven't watched the video. I mean, I was there, so I haven't watched it yet. So
no, they have the camera up front, so you can actually see everything. Where we didn't get to see the great Jabroni. Really
Dave Lang's magic stuff. I knew was going to be particularly silly.
It was dumb in the greatest of ways. You get to see the costumes a lot better than you saw when we were there. But yes, those two guys hanging out and just kind of chopping it up with us is
man.
Highlight of my weekend.
You went up to Michael and just started chatting. That was
that guy's doing work.
He's working hard. He's definitely hustling. You can see it. He wants to make the most of where he's at right now. He's got there's momentum behind what he's doing, I think.
I think that whole GameSpot group, and he gave us a little bit of behind the curtain, just, a global group of, 20-ish people?
Yeah, there's so few people who work on that.
There's a few people in the UK, a few people in Australia, but really, global management happens at the US level.
Yeah. Either the largest or the second largest, I don't know where they are in the status, gaming websites in the world is run by
20 some odd people. Yeah. Giant Bomb, as big as it is really just the people you see in the show. Yep. So there's 10, 12.
And there's a couple of engineers who you see on occasion who are technically part of CBS.
Right.
But that's it. That's all of it.
It's weird in the way that you think of, gaming being contextualized for us, by the media. 35 people but are responsible for reporting all that out, covering it, and
doing what they can to make sure that the broadest swath of the industry is covered, which is impossible, honestly.
Yes.
So I'm just glad that they do what they can. And I'm glad that there's so many other outlets to cover the niches that they might miss.
Exactly.
I paid attention to game. I waxed and waned with GameSpot. There was a period of time when there were when Danny O'Dwyer was working there, and a lot of the people around him, a few of them were still there. It's weird that I know that Mike Mahardy works for GameSpot, but he's in New York, and I think there's maybe one or two other people who are there with him. And then, the San Francisco area is their main hub.
Yep.
And they've got a couple people in Australia, and then a couple people in the UK. And several of the UK people who used to be their primary people have moved to the US.
Yeah, Tamir and Lucy.
Yeah. So, it's interesting to see whether they're just consolidating or they're just bringing in new talent to the UK. Or
I'll say, just more behind the curtain, he said that essentially in the UK or in Australia, you hit a ceiling.
Yeah.
There's no room for advancement because there's only 5 or 8 people.
So you have to make the trick to the US.
You move to the US. Lucy made the move
last year
to become a senior editor.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the position Tamir took, but...
And I feel so bad for those people because they're doing something they love so much, but they don't get nearly the level of appreciation or honestly compensation that they should for the work they do. Plus, they're also being forced to live in the most expensive area in the country.
It's wild that that's how that is arranged.
Yeah, like it baffles me that that's still technically the hub of gaming journalism.
Yeah.
That and IGN, they're both in that area.
Who knows how much longer that sustains if it's,
whether they migrate 50 somewhere else.
People.
I mean, heck, Game Informer lost half of their staff, and they were like located in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, and yet they're also like less than 30 people running the biggest gaming magazine
print
in the
magazine.
World.
Yeah, that's wild. And it's they do the important part of letting us know what is happening in the industry so that we can do this niche stuff of responding to what is happening.
Yeah.
And we can get a lot of our news directly from the sources anymore via Twitter and whatnot, but they're going to give those inside, not scoops, but the insight that you get from having access to people that you and I would not.
Well, I mean, that's why I like listening to the Giant Bomb people and the Waypoint people. They're experienced industry folks on those podcasts that have been dealing with this stuff for decades now. And they have a clear insight into what goes on in the industry and know how to contextualize it for people who may not necessarily be up on it. Yeah. So,
nope.
We're just hobbyists, Chris. We out here having a discourse.
For now.
Hey, you know
what? We get to like 3 followers. Who's popping up, baby?
Yeah, gonna pop the champagne.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we went way longer than we should have. With only 2 of us here.
Good episode, John.
Always a good episode.
Strong episode.
Always.
Dan's got to step it up.
The brand is strong.
The brand is strong.
We just need to make sure the host is stronger.
Ooh. Dan, if you listen to this whole thing.
He's fine. Dan brings the energy. I don't know. I'm just here to tell you about Fire Emblem. And you're here to tell us about anime and cars, Chris.
Yes, I can do this.
So yes, this has been the weekly discourse. Ask for it by name. # the brand is strong. And that's it. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, John.
Bye, everybody.
Later, Gator.